Consciousness returns in the dark. Shunshur reaches for his keyboard, but instead of plastic, he touches something soft. A delicate gasp pierces the silence, shattering his sense of reality. "Master, don't touch that." A panicked male voice cuts through the dark. Shunshur snaps his eyes, open to find a topless girl with antlers staring back. Screams erupt as chaos takes hold. Thinking it a lucid dream, Shunshur leans in, only to see tears welling in the girl's eyes as she begs for mercy. The visceral fear in her gaze acts like a bucket of ice water, snapping him back to reality. A splitting headache assaults him as memories flood in. He recognizes his third disciple, Song Yuling. Before he can process it, the girl lunges forward, hugging her unstable master tightly in sheer panic. Though clinging to him, Song Yuling's mind races with terrifying visions of torture for her master's death. Just as she trembles, a hand reaches out gently, and a familiar voice calls her name, minus the usual cruelty. "Why are you crying? Want me to dry those tears?" Shunshur's clumsy comfort strikes Song Yuling like lightning. Has her cruel master lost his mind? She stares in disbelief, suspecting brain damage. Watching his silly disciple smile through tears, Shunshur facepalms. Memories align, and he accepts the absurd truth. He has become the villain he wrote, Shunshur, destined for doom. In the original plot, this character is a treacherous stepping stone, destined to be crushed by the protagonist. Visions of his gruesome demise replay in his mind like a vivid nightmare. "I never should have named the villain after myself." Shunshur wallows in regret, but in despair, an instinct kicks in. As a transmigrator, surely the legendary system cheat must be part of the package? He strikes a dramatic pose, shouting into the void to summon the system. Yet, the only response is an awkward silence and a falling leaf. No ding, no interface, absolutely nothing. "Are you kidding me?" Shunshur snaps. He begs for any system, gotcha, romance, anything, but gets silence. Without a cheat, in this dog-eat-dog world, isn't he just waiting to die? As he collapses, Song Yuling's gentle embrace sparks a realization. The protagonist hasn't joined the sect yet. The revenge plot hasn't started. The timeline is early. There's still a chance. A perfect plan forms, hug the thigh. If he cleans up his image and pampers the protagonist, he can ride the hero's coattails to glory. Looking at his cute disciple, a calculating smile appears. Deciding to turn over a new leaf means no more bullying. But seeing Song Yuling acting like a pitiful victim makes him fumble, terrified of accidentally triggering his old pervert switch. "Stop crying. Shut up." Shunshur instinctively adopts his stern persona. Surprisingly, the harsh command makes Song Yuling beam with joy. Shunshur sighs internally. Fixing this twisted relationship will take time. To survive, he must win over these disciples destined to betray him. Just then, an announcement comes from outside. Xianyu stands under the sun, bowing respectfully but hiding deep worry for her junior sister. Looking at this fiery, protective, red-haired disciple, Shunshur recalls the original plot. He once killed her for mediocrity and shielding the protagonist. But this time, he refuses to let that tragedy repeat. Shunshur narrows his eyes, using his author's omniscient view to scrutinize Xianyu. He needs to assess her potential and understand why these foolish disciples insisted on joining a villain like him. "Stand up." Facing his imposing aura, Xianyu forces herself to lie, claiming an invitation from the administration hall, desperate to distract him and save her junior sister inside. The lie crumbles instantly. Xianyu trembles violently, sweating cold fear, expecting death. Yet the rage never comes. Seeing her desperate protection of her sister, Shunshur merely smiles with helpless amusement. Shunshur channels energy, but chooses mercy. Xianyu's eyes sparkle with delight. When she kneels in gratitude, Shunshur awkwardly looks away, feigning annoyance to hide his kindness. "Just stand up. Kneeling annoys me." Staring at the sky, Shunshur sighs at the monumental task of redeeming his villainous reputation. Steeling himself, he accepts the burden of mentorship, leaving his disciples gazing at his solitary silhouette. Memories of the master make Xianyu blush furiously. Her junior sister teases her, causing a panic. Meanwhile, Erbai Peak stands majestic, its spiritual springs shrouded in sacred mist. Shunshur walks through his exclusive domain, but anxiety grips him. He must secure the hidden artifact before the protagonist does. Even knowing the script, panic sets in. What if the plot goes off the rails? Rage erupts instantly. Cranes are snacking on his precious cheat items. Shunshur charges at the beasts, channeling terrifying energy and unleashing a devastating formation to punish the gluttonous birds. Still fuming, Shunshur looks down from the heights at his struggling disciples. His gaze turns cold and calculating. Their fitness is abysmal, and a hellish training regimen starts tomorrow. The disciples collapse, gasping. Shunshur coldly interrupts their pleas, fixing his gaze on Han Xian'er. Despite exhaustion, she trembles as she stands straight, eyes filled with a mix of awe and nervousness. Shunshur internally praises his talented disciple, planning to groom her. But seeing his trampled herb garden, the warmth vanishes. His face darkens, and his roar of rage terrifies the three girls. Under Shunshur's oppressive glare, the disciples tremble. Seeing their hesitation, realization dawns in his purple eyes. The scene shifts to cherry blossoms, revealing the culprit's silhouette, Dong Yueli. Guilt gnaws at Shunshur knowing Dong Yueli is hurt. But seeing the disciples noisily fighting to take the blame annoys him. To hide his turmoil, he snaps, silencing them with a ferocious roar. Get lost, or I'll punish you too. Shunshur feigns ruthlessness. Watching them flee, he sighs internally. Maintaining this villain persona is exhausting. Alone at last, he turns to the peak's layout. The rich spirit area lies empty, shunned by disciples terrified of their master. Shunshur finds himself at Dong Yueli's door, worrying. Will the minor injury he wrote about turn out to be fatal here? Expecting a sickbed, he walks straight into a bath scene. Dong Yueli shrieks, splashing water. Shunshur's brain freezes, face burning. He spins around instantly, cursing his luck. The scars on her back pierce Shunshur's heart. She suffered so much for her loyalty. He softly promises to protect her, but trembling in the water, Dong Yueli fears her beast of a master has darker intentions. She thinks she's safe, only for Shunshur to return and loom over her. Her heart stops. Seeing her terror, Shunshur breaks into a cold sweat. Did he take the domineering master act too far? Open your mouth. The command sounds like a death sentence. But before she can protest, Shunshur stuffs a priceless elixir between her lips. As it dissolves, her fear melts into sheer disbelief. Energy surges through her. Dong Yueli meditates, enveloped in a golden glow. Outside, Shunshur mourns the cost, but hopes for her breakthrough. The night deepens, contrasted by the brilliant light within. Meanwhile, two figures sneak through the dark forest. Clutching medicine bought with their savings, Xian Yu and her sister creep toward Dong Yueli's room, terrified of getting caught by their master. Silence answers their knocks. Fearing the worst, panic takes over. We have to save her. With a loud crash, they kick the door open, squinting into the gloom to find their injured sister. Instead of a tragedy, they find a glowing, fully healed goddess in the bath. As they stare in shock, Dong Yueli looks at her door-smashing sisters with utter confusion. What are you doing here? On a slick, rainy night, the two junior sisters are caught peeking. Facing Shunshur's stern command not to disturb the eldest sister's breakthrough, they lower their heads in obedience and retreat into the shadows. Under the starlit sky, the disciples whisper, wondering why their tyrant master has suddenly changed. By the lake, Shunshur watches the fireflies with a gentle smile. Since the plot has derailed, he might as well become a truly good master. Dawn breaks over the misty peaks of Erbai. Inside his quiet chamber, Shunshur sits in meditation, outwardly calm, but inwardly scrutinizing his precarious position in this cultivation world. He analyzes his spiritual roots. Though currently just a golden core cultivator meant to be an early boss, he's still a powerhouse in this region. Mana gathers at his fingertips as he decides to test this body's true strength. A flash of blue sword light, and the wooden chair is instantly reduced to dust. The control over this power is intoxicating. If he wants to protect his disciples, he cannot neglect his own cultivation. As the sunset paints the sky like fire, Shunshur is puzzled by the anomalies around him. Suddenly, it hits him. Could it be that, as the original author, the world's rules are actively catering to him? Just as he thought. A breakthrough with zero bottlenecks. He realizes with ecstasy that the heavens are cheating for him. Cultivation is effortless, and combat rules tilt in his favor. It's an official cheat code. To play it safe, he decides to suppress his realm. Even with cheats, the protagonist can't beat his creator status. At this thought, he lets out a maniacal, villainous laugh atop the stormy cliff. The next morning, that demonic laughter has become a nightmare. The purple-haired disciple complains with dark circles under her eyes. Master's terrifying laughter echoed from the peak all night, scaring her sleepless. The disciples rush to wash up and gather at the peak, daring not to be late. Meanwhile, the culprit Shunshur leans against a wall, yawning profusely. Laughing all night has worn him out too. Watching his panting disciples arrive, Shunshur nods with satisfaction. His eldest disciple, Dongyuer, has successfully reached the foundation establishment stage. Now, it's time to polish the remaining rough diamonds. Shunshur sets the morning training rules, but Han Xiener, the white-haired fourth disciple, shrinks back in insecurity, believing she's just a cultivation-less laborer. Shunshur's gaze sharpens as he suddenly asks for her age. 14. Xiener despairs, thinking she missed the golden age for cultivation. But Shunshur's hand lands gently on her head. With her fire and with dual roots, it is not too late to start now. As long as you work hard, nothing is impossible. This promise strikes Xiener's heart, reminding her of the figure who held her hand amidst ridicule years ago. It was Master who gave her a home. Xiener can no longer hold back and throws herself into Master's arms, sobbing. The senior sisters watch in stunned silence. Their stern, Demon Lord Master actually has such a gentle side? Bonus time, a chibi theater of the Master and Disciple. Though the style shifts abruptly, these cute figures seem to fit the current heartwarming atmosphere perfectly. After the warmth comes the harsh reality. Morning training ends, and the girls collapse in exhaustion, some even dumping cold water over their heads, abandoning all ladylike grace. Despite their physical exhaustion, they understand Master's good intentions. Especially Han Xiener. The moment she hears the junior sister teasing Master, she jumps up like a protective tiger cub. The second sister teases that the junior sister was rejected by other sects for being dumb. Amidst the playful banter, they feel even more grateful that Shunshur took in these rejects abandoned by the world. Xiener heads down the mountain alone with her basket, but her relaxed pace halts near a misty cave. Two gray-robed guards suddenly block her path, and their mocking greeting of senior sister Xianfeng instantly rips open her sealed past. On the mountain path, Xianfeng greets senior brother Zhao, but freezes when he mentions missing cranes. She ate them. Cold sweat runs down her back. Facing his scrutiny, she forces a smile, heart pounding, trying to hide the truth. Remembering the delicious crane feast, Xianfeng now feels only dread. Trying to uphold the peak's rules, she blocks the way, only to ignite Zhao's fury. He looks down on this junior sister with no cultivation, hurling insults as the conflict escalates instantly. Facing the provocation, Xianfeng yells, "You're courting death." But Zhao, convinced Shunshur won't care about a piece of trash, attacks with lethal intent. Ignoring pleas to stop, he unleashes a violent burst of energy, escalating the argument into a life-or-death struggle. Just as Zhao expects an easy kill, the ground cracks. Xianfeng blocks the attack. Seeing his shocked face, she stands her ground with overwhelming momentum. She exposes his stolen techniques, vowing to cleanse the sect on behalf of her master, even with her mortal body. Knowing she is outmatched, Xianfeng grits her teeth through tears, ready to die for her sect's honor. Just as she reaches her limit, a terrifying wave of energy explodes. Dust fills the air as the massive impact sweeps across the field, marking the true turning point of the battle. The dust settles, revealing the defeated provokers. Shunshur stands tall in black robes, hand gently on his disciple's shoulder. His faint praise, "Good job," fills Xianfeng with joy. Facing the kneeling, begging ants, he dismisses them with cold arrogance, making his protective nature clear. Crisis averted, Xianfeng worries about her master's safety, but Shunshur's attention shifts to the surviving cranes. Watching them forage, he deadpans a joke asking when she will lay eggs for him. This sudden absurdity instantly turns the post-battle tension into a blush-inducing ambiguity. With trivial matters settled, Shunshur turns his attention to his eldest disciple's training. On the forest path, he casually asks about her progress. Upon learning Yueli has reached the foundation establishment stage, he nods in satisfaction. It's time to teach her real spells. The master-disciple routine is warm and calm. Shunshur seriously hands over a spirit-level water technique, instructing her dutifully. However, Yueli blushes furiously, trembling as sweat rolls down her face. Internally, she screams, "Why hasn't Master punished her yet?" This damn gentleness is absolute torture for her twisted desires. On the viewing platform, a playboy surrounded by beauties lounges comfortably, but the conversation shifts to Shunshur in the distance. The women point and whisper, their eyes mixing curiosity with dread. He may seem interesting, but his notorious dark history looms like a shadow. Facing the purple-haired woman's sudden wardrobe malfunction charm, the crowd freezes. Even Shunshur isn't spared, a nosebleed betraying him. Though he curses the shitty charm, His body reacts honestly, causing his disciple to scream in panic as his cool image instantly crumbles. Wiping the blood, Shun Shi tries to recover, but his disciple excitedly gestures about the woman's huge peaks, causing the elders to spit their tea. Shun Shi facepalms, lamenting the world's morals, but his gaze sharpens. According to the plot, the true protagonist Xiao Qi is finally about to appear. On the treacherous chain bridge, a youth runs as if on flat ground, moving with incredible speed. What should be a difficult trial becomes his solo show. The elders on the high platform widen their eyes, awestruck by this unseen, terrifying talent. A genius destined to shake the sect has emerged. Seeing such a gem, the elders turn green with envy, fighting to claim him. The Dancing Peak Master is determined to win, his words full of arrogance and provocation, mocking the others. Amidst the argument, someone mentions Shun Shi. Usually, the trash is left to him, but this time no one will let go. The trials conclude. Sect Master Ning Shanming stands atop the cloud platform, solemnly announcing the new disciples. Looking at the youths with determination in their eyes, the entire sect is immersed in the solemn ceremony. New blood has been infused, and the gears of fate begin to turn. During the master selection, a girl with 3 spiritual roots attracts attention. Yet, the Dancing Peak Master looks bored, even getting roasted by his own disciple as the king of trash. His indifferent attitude towards such rare talent forms a sharp, ironic contrast to the eager gazes around him. Suddenly, blinding green light erupts, a top-tier pure with spirit root. The crowd goes wild, elders gritting their teeth in jealousy. But Shun Shi recognizes her as a future member of the protagonist's harem. To correct the plot, he publicly refuses her, instead pushing this peerless genius onto the marginalized Byran. Byran knows she's compatible, but dares not hope due to her low status. As expected, the sect master objects. Suddenly, Shun Shi erupts, silencing the nonsense. With a domineering, "If I say she's suitable, she is," he suppresses all opposition and forcibly turns the tide. Facing Shun Shi's thunderous rage, Byran pales in fear. But in the next second, the mood shifts instantly. Shun Shi gently offers a pastry to the black-haired girl. Watching the girl eat happily, Byran is left in shock, unable to fathom the schemes of this unpredictable villain master. Memories flash by, warmth fleeting. Shun Shi sees through it all, his elegant touch carrying a warning. Inside, the true villain's soul smirks, eyes sharp with anticipation for the show to begin. Back in reality, Shun Shi stands atop the magic circle, calling out solemnly. But suddenly, the tension breaks into a chibi comedy, as if the very air has turned playful. The scene shifts to the bustling sect plaza during the disciple selection. Under scrutiny, Xiao Qi stands alone, fists clenching at the harsh whispers, golden eyes filled with unease. The circle glows blue, elders praising the boy's calm. Only Shun Shi rests his chin on his hand, a playful sneer on his lips, watching like a predator waiting to see who dares compete. A flame totem erupts, fire, spiritual root. The elders boil with excitement, greedy eyes fixed on the boy, eager to claim this gem that matches the sect master's power. But the joy is short-lived as wood and earth appear. A rare talent turns into a mediocre triple root, and gasps turn to sighs. The genius becomes ordinary in the blink of an eye. Finally, all 5 elements appear. In this world, that means trash. Elders shake their heads, their mockery pouring down like ice water, leaving the boy frozen in shock and sweat. Mockery floods in like a tide. Xiao Qi pales, trembling with humiliation. The elder asks who will take him, answered only by dead silence and undisguised disdain. As they kick him while he's down, a powerful aura descends. Shun Shi, in black and gold robes, steps down, breaking the humiliation with a commanding voice. "What is your name, kid?" "Xiao Qi." Tears well up. Shun Shi sternly stops the crying, then offers a lifeline. The boy wipes his eyes, hope reigniting, and nods with all his might. "I am willing." The shout echoes. Shun Shi promises to make the world bow, and amidst falling petals, Xiao Qi kneels in devotion. The bond of master and disciple is forged. Outwardly, Shun Shi leaves coolly. Inside, he's celebrating wildly. SSR character acquired. The death ending is rewritten, and he mentally gives himself a massive thumbs up. Back at her by peak, Shun Shi is generous, gifting pills instead of scorn. Xiao Qi stares in shock, while senior sisters smile warmly. The trash disciple is clearly the master's favorite. Disciple Xinyu protests, but Shun Shi explains it's custom training. She apologizes in fear, yet grows anxious when the expected punishment doesn't come, twisting the mood into comedy. As the conversation gets weird, Xiao Qi speaks up. Under shocked gazes, he points to himself shyly and drops a bombshell. Actually, I'm a girl. Shun Shi's face freezes, his mind filled with question marks. Where is the male protagonist? The scene halts on his broken expression, even the chibi skit dripping with speechless humor. In the quiet courtyard, master and disciple sit together. Chi'er struggles with body entry, poses, but the suggestive dialogue and shy expression send the vibe racing in a weird direction. Chi'er is touched, thinking master knew all along. Shun Shi plays along, but internally screams. The hero is a lowly? But wait, that's even better. His shock shifts to a realization of I can work with this. Shun Shi pulls out a suspiciously titled book, spouting nonsense with a straight face. Despite the deep theory, the cute chibi interaction suggests this cultivation lesson is anything but serious. Meanwhile, the eldest sister serves up steaming, roasted cranes. She's gone all out to please the master. Cheers erupt outside as this warm yet absurd family dinner is about to begin. Just as Xianyu drools over the golden roast, she freezes. It's the master's precious medicinal crane. Before she can hide the evidence, Shun Shi strides in, hungry and oblivious to the impending disaster. Nostalgia shatters instantly as Shun Shi explodes in rage. Seeing his expensive investment turned into dinner, he unleashes a terrifying aura, leaving his disciples trembling in the suffocating tension. Watching his disciples kneel in fear, Shun Shi fights back the villain's violent instincts. Just as he regrets his outburst, Dong Yueli unexpectedly steps forward to take the full blame. Dong Yueli begs for punishment with a flushed face and suspicious eagerness. Her plea to be punished severely sends a chill down Shun Shi's spine. Why does her repentance feel so strangely excited? Struggling for a solution, Shun Shi seizes on Chiyer's innocent suggestion of spanking. He thinks public humiliation will assert dominance, completely missing the complex mix of shock and anticipation in Yueli's eyes. Shun Shi commands with authority, and Yueli obeys like a devotee receiving a blessing. Hidden from view, she can barely contain her ecstasy, surrounded by an imaginary aura of pink flowers. Staring at her mature, curvaceous figure, Shun Shi's heart skips a beat. He takes a deep breath, fighting to maintain his composure and hide any sign of male instinct in front of his disciples. The crisp sound of a slap echoes as Shun Shi delivers his lecture, but instead of cries of pain, he hears a blush-inducing moan. This isn't punishment. It's a bizarre farce. Yueli begs for harder, crueler strikes. It hits Shun Shi like a lightning bolt. His dignified disciple is a total masochist. The plot logic finally makes sense, but the reality is utterly shameless. Exhausted and appetite ruined, Shun Shi floats away in defeat. The junior sisters rush to their collapsed victim, panic written on their faces, oblivious to what really just happened. But the injured Yueli, flushing red, whispers a secret request for fresh underwear. Xinyu realizes the truth instantly and sprints away in embarrassment, leaving the others completely baffled. Though this absurd day comes to a close, the dynamic between master and disciple has irrevocably shifted, leaving a lingering sense of amusement. Late at night, Shun Shi tries to relax in a bath, only to hear Yueli's voice outside. Despite his firm refusal, it's clear his words won't stop a disciple determined to show her filial piety. Fueled by romantic delusions of scrubbing his back, Yueli bursts through the door. Shun Shi nearly jumps out of his skin, terrified by this sudden and unwanted service. Instead of leaving, Yueli splashes water with a mischievous grin, teasing, "If I'm disobedient, will I be punished again?" Shun Shi screams internally. Who on earth can handle this? Just as the tension in the tub reaches its peak, the third disciple's innocent voice calls out from outside. Instantly, the aggressive Yueli transforms into a panicked rabbit. Desperate to protect the innocent, Shun Shi orders Yueli to hide. As she scrambles into the closet, he resigns himself to using magic to clean up the puddles. Being a master is more exhausting than being a thief. Song Yuling enters. Blissfully unaware of the chaos, she interrupted. Shun Shi feigns calm, discussing cultivation theory with a straight face while his heart pounds in his throat. Chiyer's eyes dart around, seemingly fixated on the closet. Shun Shi breaks into a cold sweat, terrified of discovery. She only turns to pour tea, but every second of silence feels like an eternity. Trapped in the dark, stifling closet, Yueli is drenched in sweat. Yet, Surrounded by the master's scent and clothes, she sinks not into fear, but into a dizzying, taboo state of intoxication. The cramped closet becomes a hotbed of desire. Dong Yuer inhales the lingering scent of her master, lost in feverish fantasies, oblivious to the urgent calls from outside. Flashback to the chaos. In a clumsy dash to serve her master, she tripped. Tea splashed everywhere amidst the crash, leaving only a mess and her master's bewildered gaze. Instead of the expected scolding, strong hands catch her steady. Amidst the flying droplets, his gentle warning turns her panic into a face flushed with overwhelming shyness. Shinshur glances at his soaked sleeve, seeing through her clumsy act but choosing silence. Seeing his tolerance, Yuer's adoration burns hotter, interpreting it as a silent permission. Night falls, and an exhausted Shinshur suddenly realizes he completely forgot his disciple in the closet. Inside the darkness, Yuer trembles, yet faithfully awaits his command. The door opens, and a disheveled Yuer crawls out. Faced with threats of punishment, she begs excitedly for the whip instead of fearing it. Her twisted reaction sending a chill down Shunshur's spine. To escape this bizarre atmosphere and survive, Shunshur makes a snap decision. Hiding his panic behind a teacup, he orders preparations for a journey. An escape is imperative. Plotting to steal the protagonist's opportunities, Shunshur's gaze sharpens. By the next morning, he leaves the sex noise behind, stepping onto a path toward the unknown. The long-lost air of freedom is intoxicating. Shunshur strolls along the lush mountain path, momentarily shedding the burden of the villain master to enjoy a rare moment of ease. Meanwhile, a caravan winds laboriously through the mountains. Exhausted guards ask the noblewoman inside for a break. The tedious journey desperately needs a spark of life. Suddenly, a domineering aroma invades their senses. The miracle of cumin meeting lamb. The weary guards' eyes widen, mouths watering, as the tantalizing scent banishes all fatigue. With a flamboyant sprinkle of spices, Shunshur performs like an artist before the charcoal fire. The caravan watches in awe, a culinary god in the middle of the wilderness. Glancing at these travelers, Shunshur instantly gauges their strength. Captain Gao Sheng offers gold leaves for the food, his tone carrying the pride and probing nature of a large sect. Shunshur chuckles, casually rejecting the gold and gifting the meat instead. His generosity instantly bridges the gap, melting away suspicion over the campfire and delicious food. Two stunning beauties approach from the night. Just as Shunshur feels a spark, his ego is shattered by being called little brother. He turns in annoyance, trying to reclaim his dignity. Facing the beautiful madam's inquiry, Shunshur fakes a Taoist name, Jingza, trying to sound profound. But her amused smile reveals she sees right through him, leaving him feeling awkwardly exposed. Since his cover is blown, Shunshur brazenly asks for a ride. Surprisingly, the madam blushes and agrees, while the girl beside her looks on with starry eyes, turning the atmosphere instantly romantic. Inside the tent, mother and daughter whisper. Despite her daughter's doubts, Luo Shasha intuitively senses his extraordinary nature. For the dangerous journey ahead, this mysterious boy might be exactly what they need. Nestled in her mother's arms, young Yuding naively fantasizes about marriage to save her family. Outside, however, the hero carrying their hopes lets out a loud, unglamorous sneeze in the cold wind. By the firelight, Gao Sheng reveals the bitter decline of Muling Castle and their desperate plea to the Yuhua sect. Hearing that familiar name, a glint appears in Shunshur's eyes. The gears of fate turn once more. As the tragic backstory unfolds, Shunshur internally groans at the trouble ahead. Suddenly, his gaze sharpens. Sensing cultivators closing in, he cuts the nostalgia short with urgent command. Wake them up. Enemies approaching, 300 paces out. The silence shatters as Gao Sheng bellows orders into the night. Everyone on alert. Watching the camp scramble to battle stations, Shunshur sighs but steels his resolve. Fate has cast the die, and he will see this through.